Minority Radio.
Welcome everyone to this very special Wednesday edition of 5 Round MMA. My name is Alex Maris alongside my co-host Albert Cetus. So as we're going to be embarking on new 2 episodes a week, hopefully. The Monday show, hopefully you guys listen to already, is a regular recap of the news and events, our opinions. But these Wednesday episodes are going to be interview-based. And we like to call them a championship conversation with a certain fighter. And this week we're very excited to have AKA product at this American Kickboxing Academy, Nohelin Suave Hernandez. Super bright kid, super articulate, had a lot of great stuff to say. Albert, don't you agree?
Yeah, he was actually one of the most suave interviews we've had.
Yeah, he's smooth on the mic and probably smooth on the ring as well. So it's going to be a great interview. He mentions his Twitter and Instagram handles, but it's at Suave_135. So we're super excited to have Nohelin on here. Should be a great, fun interview. And again, make sure if you haven't watched our previous episode that airdropped on Monday, check it out. We talked about the Conor McGregor, the money fight, all that great stuff. So yeah, check it out. Nohelin Hernandez, guys. Welcome, everyone. This week we have a special guest interview with Nohelin Hernandez. Nohelin, how's it going, man?
Hey, what's up, man? What's up, everybody? How's everybody doing? I'm doing great. Good to be on this podcast.
Yeah. Thank you for joining 5 Round MMA. My name is Alex Maris. Alongside is my co-host Albert Cedia. So we're going to talk to you about just your fight history, training camp, and stuff like that. Just real casual, man. Again, I want to thank you for taking the time to speak to us, man. I really do appreciate it. So I kind of want to get this started with. I know I don't want to start out on a down foot, but you are coming off your first career professional loss back in early August. Can you take us over that fight? What happened? It was a global knockout 10. Your first loss. Just in your eyes, since a few weeks have gone by, what kind of happened? What went wrong in that fight?
I can't say too many things went wrong. I honestly, I had a perfect fight camp. I was injury free. My head was right where it was supposed to be. I just think that, being honest, my opponent kind of just caught me off guard in his game plan. And I really thought, looking at his videos, that he was going to look for takedowns. And I was trying to pressure him with me just being in his face. And, I was going to pressure him into taking shots. And I was ready to defend, because that's what most of my camp consisted of, because of my opponent. And he just decided to stand and bang, and man, he threw a hook cross, him being a southpaw, me being an orthodox fighter, and he clipped me with the cross, man. And that's all it was, man. He just caught me, but it's obviously at the time it was very upsetting, and it was my first career loss. But a couple of weeks after the fight, I'm just taking it as a learning experience. And I'm moving forward from this, man. I have a lot of other opportunities. I'm 23 years old. I got a 4-1 record. Not all is lost. Again, it's very unfortunate that it happened, and especially to the caliber opponent. I think I was better everywhere, of course. Technically, mentally, I was better everywhere, man. But it's just one of those things where I got caught, and there's not much we can do about it now. We just gotta, continue to get better. And the lesson that I'm taking from this is be ready for whatever. Because sometimes game plans aren't always followed to the T, and I got to be ready for that.
Yeah. I mean, that's the sport of mixed martial arts, man. As we've known, anybody who watches it is, anybody can get beaten on any given night. So people can follow you on Instagram at Suave_135. And even after that, after your loss, you had a really great post where you said, it wasn't my night tonight, but things do happen. I move on forward, man. And your positive attitude is something really amazing. Have you always had that? Has martial arts maybe helped you kind of focus that positive energy, or is it something you've learned as you trained?
Oh man, definitely. I've definitely learned how to take a loss through my amateur MMA career. I mean, my amateur MMA career was 5-4. I think that's really where I picked up my ability to learn how to win and lose. Man, I remember one of my coaches told me to lose gracefully and to win gracefully, so I take that, and I just learn from all the losses and the wins, man. I've had great wins and some tough losses, but I've always learned from everything, and I like to say that positive attitudes conquer the world. So I'm just staying positive, man. Like I said, I'm young. I'm 23 years old, 4-1. I'm training out of one of the best camps in California. That's the American Kickboxing Academy. And I just think that there's more things in life to be sad over than a fight in MMA, you know? So I take it all in stride.
That's great stuff, man.
Yeah, and to add to that, maybe you can give us a little bit, like elaborate a little bit more on your mindset. After going such a rough record in the amateurs, you went and won your first 4 pro fights, and a lot of people would have probably quit or maybe even questioned their skill level if you had like a rough amateur. But then you clearly showed that you knew that you were better than that. And maybe you could tell us a little bit more about your mental game and how you even pushed through that and knew that you can get to a higher level.
Oh man, so yeah, my amateur record, man. I mean, obviously it wasn't the prettiest, but it's just something that I love to do. Mixed martial arts is something that I love to do. I've been surrounded in it ever since I was 16, and I fell in love with it from my first training session to right now. You know, I still have the same passionate love for the sport that I had when I first started, and I think that's kind of what kept me going. And you know, whether I win or lose, man, it's just something that I love to do. But yeah, definitely going into my pro career and having 4 wins and, you know, no losses up until that point where I lost. I mean, it was a great ride, man. I mean, I'm very confident in my skill set. I'm good everywhere, man. You ask my training partners, my wrestling, my jiu-jitsu, my stand-up, everything's there. Everything's how it's supposed to be. It's just I got caught this one time, man. But again, I'm positive, man. Just because I'm so confident in my skills, you know, I'll fight anybody, anywhere, anytime, man. I'm ready to go whenever. So I think that's another thing that benefits me and that helps me out is just my mindset, just to fight, man, just to fight. Because that's all I'm doing right now, man. I'm not working. You know, I stopped going to college just to pursue this full time, and you know, and so far it's been paying off, and I know it's going to pay off in the future. I just got to keep striving for it, keep working hard, keep listening to my team, and stay positive.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, and going back to the amateur thing, how many guys have you seen go undefeated in amateurs? Also, when they turn pro, they can't get a win to save their life. So, I mean, like I said, everything's a learning experience. But I kind of want to go back to you're growing up as a teenager. So, did you start primarily in mixed martial arts, or did you maybe do karate, taekwondo, judo, wrestling? So, have you, like, from day one studied mixed martial arts as a whole, or did you start with the first specific martial art and then branch off?
That's a great question, man. So I started off with everything right away. Actually, my first martial art. I mean, technically, right. The first day I showed up to class, we went over some jiu-jitsu drills. So, like, you know, basic escapes, basic submissions. I believe I fell in love with the triangle right away. So I think jiu-jitsu was like it was like my first thing ever that I learned. My instructor though was, I believe, a 3rd-degree black belt in taekwondo, and so I picked up a lot of my kicks from him and some boxing, and ultimately, you know, I mean, at the time that I was training, you know, that gym wasn't too big. It was just kind of like, I think 2 times a week. It was every Monday and Friday. And so eventually, you know, my instructor, you know, told me, hey, you know what, maybe this isn't enough for you. Let me recommend you to this other spot where you can go train a little more. And I went to that other gym and I stayed there for about 3 years. And then, of course, I kind of outgrew that spot, and that's finally when I made the decision to go to the AKA.
So, I mean, any mixed martial arts fans knows those 3 initials, AKA. It's probably one of the most famous MMA gyms in the country, not only in the world. What's it like going in there training, man? You got some future Hall of Famers in there, past Hall of Famers coming through those doors every day. I mean, what's it like as, you know, someone, you know, 23 years old, you know, watching the sport, loving it, and then seeing guys like that, you know, the Luke Rockholds, Cain Velasquez, you know, Daniel Cormier, all those guys just kind of training with you?
Man, so I'll give you my first experience. My first initial experience was, I mean, I was super, like, nervous ever just going into the academy, right? And actually, when I first tried out for the professional team, I actually didn't make it. So it was kind of like, you know, I had, you know, the hopes to go into the pro team and make it, but I ended up still trying out, you know, and Coach Javier Mendez just, he sent me to the amateur team, and a year into the amateur team, and I believe like 3 to 4 fights in the amateur team, I made it to the pro team, and, you know, he welcomed me, and ever since then, that's, you know, I turned pro once I got to the pro team, but it's cool, man, just hanging in there with Luke Rockhold, Cain Velasquez, Daniel Cormier, man. It's definitely inspiring because, I mean, we're doing the same things that the big names are, And I mean, obviously, it's worked for them, so it has to work for us. You know, I just trust their training. I just trust their tutelage, and I just go with it, man. I think somebody that's been a really big help to me so far has been Daniel Cormier, man, and not just me personally, but the whole team. He really extends his hand out to help everybody on the team, whether you're an amateur, an established pro like me, or whoever, man. He's a really nice guy. So I commend Daniel for helping everybody out and for helping me out whenever I needed the help.
Yeah, it had to be pretty rough when you saw his bout against John Jones, the way it ended, man. Because like you said, we see him all the time. Every time there's Road to the Octagon or Countdown, he's in there, training everybody, from the top level guys to the amateur guys. So was it kind of rough seeing the outcome against the John Jones fight?
Oh yeah, man, that was devastating because when he was getting ready for his fight for John Jones, man, I was in the same room with him. We were doing conditioning together. It was me, him, and maybe like 10 other guys in the same room just doing conditioning every Monday, Wednesday, Friday. And, obviously I'm the little guy, right? Daniel Cormier, that's Daniel Cormier. He's the UFC heavyweight champion of the world. So, there's that distance of power, right? And level at the gym. But regardless, we were still both in the room. We're both teammates. And it was just hard to see, man. It was hard to watch. I remember I was watching it at a pizza spot, and everybody cheered and jumped when John Jones got that finish, and I was just there, man, just sitting, just didn't say a word, and it was sad. It was actually a sad moment, man, just because you grind with the guy, and then you see him lose like that, and it was unfortunate, bro.
Yeah, I think that's also the thing too, that especially maybe a lot of people can understand the camaraderie and the brother and sisterhood that is built up when you stay with the camp and you train, you sweat together, you bleed together, you're hitting each other, and obviously you guys when they're successful, you feel successful. When they're down, you're down. And that's something I think a lot of people kind of get lost on, how close you guys are as teammates, in your camp and the other camps around the world. So that's cool hearing your perspective, man. Thanks for sharing that, man. We appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem.
Sticking with your camp though, one of the perceptions I guess the MMA community gets is that AKA goes too hard, or there's a lot of injuries take place, but because unnecessary training. Can you enlighten us a little bit on that, or do you think it's just a misconception?
Yeah, I definitely believe it's a misconception. I think that injuries are no more prevalent than they are at any big gym that you can name, whether it's American Top Team or Jackson Wing. Injuries happen, man. They just happen no matter what camp you're at. They're going to happen. I mean, of course, we do have that misconception of AKA that, yeah, we go hard, whatever, but we don't, man. We take it. We take it all in stride. We take it, take it one day at a time. And, sometimes injuries happen, but I don't think we're any more prevalent to get injuries than any other gym.
Hey, I want to go back. You have a pretty sweet nickname in Suave, man. How'd you get that?
Wait, what was that?
Your nickname, man. How'd you get your nickname? That's a pretty cool nickname.
Oh, yeah. So for the fans that are listening and might not know, yeah, my nickname is Suave. So that's Nohelin Suave Hernandez. Man, I got that right when I got a haircut, man. I used to have long, shaggy hair, and I believe it was my first amateur MMA fight, I was like, man, I'm getting tired of this. I can't do this. I'm just gonna get a clean haircut and see what happens, And I got it's called the comb over, right?
Yeah.
And I was like, oh man, I look pretty good. All right, I feel this. I like this, and so. I was like, I look suave, all right. So I just gave myself the nickname, man, and I started telling everybody to call me that, and ever since then it's stuck. So that's how I got it, and I think it fits, and I'm gonna keep rolling with it, man.
Nah, man, that's definitely
I think it's catchy. I think it goes with me. So
unique, man, unique nickname. Well, I want to ask people, obviously, your record's 4-1. You have 3 knockouts professionally and 1 decision win. So let's say somebody who has never seen you fight before. What do they expect? What is a Nohelin Hernandez fight like?
So I'm a technical killer. If you like technique and violence, you're gonna like me. You're gonna want to watch me. I bring a whole different level of entertainment to the local circuit. I'm not just a fighter that's going to be posting, hey, I got to fight, this and that, come watch me. No, I'm the kind of fighter that's going to instigate something, and that's just me being me. That's just me speaking my mind. I just call it how I see it, man. If I have something that I want to pick on my opponent about, then I'm gonna call it out. You know, I'm not gonna stay quiet just because that's how I am. And you know, unfortunately, I made the mistake of not speaking my mind early in my amateur career. You know, and I'm just trying to be real to myself. I think a lot of people take it as me being arrogant or me being somebody that I'm not. But no, man, that's just me. If I got something to say, I'm gonna say it. And again, I've made the mistake in my amateur career to not speak my mind. But you know, people don't understand that this MMA game it's not only proving that you have the skill, but it's making it entertaining for the fans and for people that are watching. And you know, the fact that I've been able to do it so well, you know, I got this game down. We just gotta look for the next fight and keep winning. So that's how that is.
Yeah, I mean, I know we saw this past weekend that the king of it right now is Conor McGregor is selling yourself, man. And I can tell from right now, from this interview, man, you're very articulate and you speak very well for a lot of fighters, man. Just like I think if the more you fight and the more interviews you get, man, people will definitely see this and want to follow you, man. I just want to say that now. I mean, you're young and you get it, man. Because a lot of the older guys don't get it, saying, I'm not really good at trash talking. But we saw Conor McGregor do what he's been doing this past, 4 or 5 years. Half of it now is being able to sell yourself.
Yeah, I don't know too much about other fighters and how they sell themselves. I just know myself and how I am. So I can't speak on other fighters, but I can speak on myself. And just what you see is what you get with me. So I just try to keep it real as possible. The people around me know that, and sometimes it bites me in the ass. Sometimes it plays in my favor, but at the end of the day, that's just me. And I can't make anybody stay or whatever, So it's all good.
So speaking about McGregor, the bout just took place. What's your thoughts on the match? And were you entertained? Do you think there is something that people can learn from it? Well, what's your thought in general about the bout?
Man, so I was super excited over the fight. A month, before it happened. I watched all the videos. I looked at all the analyst perspectives. I just thought it was very entertaining, man. I thought not only was it good for MMA and boxing, but I just thought it was an entertaining fight for the fans. I'm an MMA fighter, yeah, but I'm also a fan. I stay up to date with everything, and I think it lived up to the hype from the press conferences, from the world tours to the fight itself. I'm a little skeptical of the result, right? Mm-hmm. In that I think the fight should have, gone, I don't think the ref should have stepped in, but I can also see how the boxing rules, led the referee to step in because there was no eight count for the fighter.
Yeah,
not to interrupt I don't know, man, but
on that 8 count, that's one thing I never got in boxing. So don't you think it would be better for the guy to just take a knee and get the 8 count rather than risk the referee stop it, since there is no standing 8 count?
Yeah, so you know what? I might be a little ignorant to the boxing rules, but I believe the no standing 8 count just means that there is no 8 count at all. I think it's just like you either can keep fighting, or you just stop the fight. There isn't an 8 count at all. I might be a little ignorant to the rules, but that's just my take on it. I'm not really sure. Maybe somebody in the comments can clear that up. But yeah, I just thought it was an entertaining fight, man. I was entertained. I think a lot of people were entertained, and I think it brought a lot of light on MMA in whole. So I thought it was good. And I lost the bet, which was maybe the worst part of it. Me and my girlfriend had bet on something, but I ended up losing. So we gotta make that right over there with her. But Yeah, it was a good fight, man. I enjoyed it. I hope everybody did too. I don't know.
Yeah, yeah. And one more thing before I let you go. Nolan. So you just fought early in August. What's the timetable for your return? Do you want to get back as soon as possible? Do you want to maybe wait till like the holidays, or what are you looking at for your next bout?
Oh man, I was looking for something in September, but it didn't look like it was gonna fall through. So me and my management, Matt Dodge over at KO Repetition, we are looking at October and November, possibly even 2 fights in November. I'll say this, man. I am the most active fighter possibly in all of California, maybe for sure the Bay Area. But I had 5 professional fights, not even a year between me signing my first contract and this last fight.
Yeah.
So I think that speaks something, man. I stay busy, I stay active, and that's what I'm going to continue to do because I'm young. I'm 23. And I'm hungry for this, man. I want to make it to the UFC. I have the UFC in mind. I know that the Contender Series might be having a second series, so I will stack up the wins before then and come back and compete and get into the UFC.
Awesome. Well, hey, we'll get you on when your next fight announcement, man. So we help you promote it, man. Before let's go, where can people follow you on social media? And do you have any shout outs you want to give to any of your local sponsors or any of your close sponsors?
Yeah, man, I have so many. I sometimes forget to name any, but I just, if you guys want to follow me, just check me out. Instagram, Suave_135. I'm on Twitter, Suave_135. If you guys want to follow my Facebook page, it's Nohelin Hernandez. I just like to give a shout out to all my people in Gilroy. That's where I'm from. That's where most of my sponsors are. My training partners, my coaches, my gym, my dog, my cat, my girlfriend, everybody, man, my mama. I want to give a shout out. I want to give a shout out to everybody, man. And you guys, thank you guys for taking the time to take interest in me. And yeah, man, hopefully we could do this again.
Thank you very much, Nohelin Suave Hernandez, everybody. Thank you very much, man. Have a good one.
You are now listening to Afro Mighty Radio.